This is Sports Weekly. Hello and welcome back to Sports Weekly. This is our 12th episode. We've been at it for a while, and some big things happened since last time, including Colts coaching hire and a lot of other crazy stuff in the
NBA
sports
trade
world.
deadline.
Yeah.
We tried to predict them. None of us were right. You were a little closer with the Cavs losing to the Magic, but they didn't go for DeAndre. But still, a lot of NBA trade deadline stuff to get to as well.
Yeah, but let's start off with some college basketball and March Madmen. We have our three things as always. Jason, why don't you start it off?
Number one, gotta find the pearl. A 1-point home loss to a suddenly hot Texas A&M team does not drop Auburn too far, especially since the Tigers bounced back to throttle Georgia on the road. Coach Bruce Pearl's team has a 2-game edge on the SEC standings heading into the final 6 games. No one would have expected this type of season. We all thought this would be Kentucky, Florida, Texas A&M, but no. Really, the Tigers playing well. Number 2, sleeper in the ACC, another surprise team of the year. As Duke and North Carolina decide to be good every other week, the other one takes over every other week. Clemson is solidly the second best team in the ACC standings, and they have the resume to back it up. Top 5 RPI, 11 quadrant 1 and 2 wins. They do travel to Florida State and host Duke this week, though, so it will be a big week if they can knock off the mighty Blue Devils.
Yeah, I mean, what is this? Auburn and Clemson? Like, this isn't the college football playoff.
Oh, yeah? Number 3, Ohio State.
Oh, jeez.
Gotta finish. What a job Chris Holtmann has done with these Buckeyes. Former Butler coach for all the Indiana people out there. With wins at Purdue and over Iowa this week, Ohio State is now in sole possession of first place in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes have won 17 of their past 19 games, but keep an eye on their schedule. 3 of their final 4 games are on the road, so potential drop there. They have Michigan on the road, always a rivalry game with those two. Yeah. But yeah, you mentioned it. Clemson, Auburn, Ohio State. This sounds like about 2 months ago in the college football playoff.
All right, I'll keep it with the football schools for my first one. We'll see about the second two. Texas A&M has 2 wins versus ranked teams in a row. Yeah.
How you talking about?
Some Johnny football news, by the way. We might talk about that later.
Yeah, I will.
Some football. But Texas A&M, 2 wins in a row, both against ranked teams. They're back in the top 25 at number 21. They're actually 15th in RPI right now, and they finished their last 5 games of the season against 5 unranked SEC teams. A chance for them to keep their hot streak going and go into the tournament very hot. Gonzaga and St. Mary's matched up last week. This is the end of the football schools. Yeah. Gonzaga won that game, and they're back in the top 10. And they have 6 players averaging over 10 points a game right now and have won 7 in a row. Looks like they're going to run the rest of the table because, of course, their conference isn't great at all. Gonzaga with a big victory this weekend. And my last one, what is up with St. John's? They are last place in the Big East, and they lost 12 games in a row. And then they just went out and beat Duke and Villanova in back-to-back games, ended up beating Marquette, too. Shamori Pons, he's averaging 34 points a game over those 3 wins. It's just insane. I mean, the Big East, last place.
Yeah, before they beat Duke, it was actually they hadn't won a game in the Big East. Marquette was their first win in the Big East. It's crazy. Shamori Pons, Chris Mullen as the head coach. It's been awesome to watch. Villanova at home even. Yes, Duke was at St. John's, but home for Villanova. Big loss there for the Wildcats, but a big win for St. John's.
All right, that'll do it today for March Madmen. We'll head over to professional for the Around the Association. All right, welcome back to Around the Association. Last week was the NBA trade deadline. Lots of big deals being made. Cavs remaking their whole entire team. They have 4 people left from when they won the championship, and crazy stuff at the deadline. We'll talk about our favorite and least favorite trade. I'll start off with my favorite one. It's not a blockbuster trade, but the Suns got Elfrid Payton for a second-round pick from the Magic, and since he's came to the Suns, Elfrid Payton has been lighting it up. On Monday night, he scored 29 against the Warriors, although the Suns did get killed that game. Elfrid Payton certainly showed up, and he had a huge game.
Yeah, he had a big game the game before that, too. He had 22 points, 9 assists. Really seems more comfortable with the Suns. And you got to remember, they still have Devin Booker. He's hurt right now. So if Peyton and Booker can get it going, along with Marquise Chris, Dragon Bender, any of those young guys, Alex Len, even their number 3 pick, Josh Jackson, they have a lot of youth getting Alfred Payton for a second-round pick.
All right, my least favorite one, I'm still very sad that the Clippers traded away Blake.
Yeah, you should be. The Pistons are balling right now. Clippers still playing well.
Clippers
Also,
beat 'em, though.
only one loss since Blake's been gone, but I don't think that'll last, as the Pistons look really, really good without Reggie Jackson.
Clippers still beat him, though.
They did. My favorite trade, we know where we're going. IT to the Lake Show. Not perfect, but very good trade deadline for the Lakers. IT has half a season with, quote, heavy minutes is what they said he will be getting with the Lakers, and to prove that last year was not a fluke. That's really what this year comes down to. He had a fantastic season with Boston, horrible season with Cleveland. This will decide, was last year a fluke or was what we saw in Cleveland legit? But for the Lakers, cap relief was huge. They got rid of Jordan Clarkson's contract that people thought we'd have to attach a first-round pick to get rid of. No, we got a first-round pick for it. That was huge. And whether they use an 18 or 19, they now have another first-rounder. Like I said, this will really help the core if they can get that first-rounder to be another gem like they found with Kuzma, Josh Hart, Larry Nance Jr., who's now gone. But speaking of Larry Nance, losing Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr., honestly, probably two of my favorite personalities on the Lakers. They were so fun and just such great guys to watch on interviews and all these different videos. So, obviously, they're killing it in Cleveland, which I'll talk about later. But it's good luck to them. But I absolutely love them. But the trade, fantastic for the Lakers.
Yeah, big Lakers nerd over here. The Cavs, they remade their whole team and got a huge win over Boston this past weekend. So we'll see if they can keep it up. They're looking good right now. I mean, we'll talk about, and I'm sure in future episodes, if they're up to the task to beat Boston in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. My least favorite trade, Kings side of the Cavs-Kings-Jazz trade. If you remember, the Cavs got Rodney Hood and George Hill. They gave up Derrick Rose and Jay Crowder to the Jazz, and the Kings got Iman Shumpert and Joe Johnson. So why do I hate this trade? They screwed up. George Hill for Iman Shumpert and Joe Johnson does not make sense. They didn't get any younger. They didn't get any draft picks, and nothing to help them except for future cap space that no one wants to go play in Sacramento. They've got no reason to go play in Sacramento unless you really are buying De'Aaron Fox or Buddy Hield. But I think everyone's going to pick Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram over them, and it's pretty same coastline. So I just don't understand it with Sacramento. They have cap space, but with no one to spend it on, I guess, except for more average Bogdanovich players like that, where he gave him a $12 million contract.
And he's insane. I'm just kidding. Not a great player. Sacramento, they're just completely messed up in the front office.
Vlade's got to go. Hey, I said it once. I didn't say it. I wasn't alive. It happened once. Vlade was gone. Lakers got Kobe. Vlade's got to go now in Sacramento. He's not doing a good job.
All right, let's move into our 3 things as we do every week. Jason, go ahead and start it off.
This is 2K type stuff. We just talked about it. The Cavaliers have traded 6 players away at the trade deadline, tied for the most in history of any trade deadline in the past 30 years. Who's the other team to do it? Oh, yeah, the Cavs in 2008. But different GM, obviously. The 6 players that were traded away have an average age of 30.7 years, so basically 31, while the 4 players they got back have an average of 27 years. So they got younger, and they're performing better. Those 4 combined players, as you mentioned, the Boston win, they combined for 49 points in Sunday's win. Jordan Clarkson looked fantastic. Larry Nance was in foul trouble, but still looked good when he was on there. And Rodney Hood and George Hill look like solid pieces that will really help. I think Cleveland is now the front runner in the East again. Number 2, quit hating on PG. This is you and Mr. Panasek. You guys both hating on PG, all in on Victor Oladipo. Not only is Paul George leading the league in steals, he also leads in deflections by a wide margin. According to NBA Advanced Stats, George's 4.5 deflections per game are 0.6 more than anyone else. And you're like, 0.6, who cares? The gap between George and second place Robert Covington is the same as the gap between Covington and Victor Oladipo, who comes in 8th. So, to go along with a career-high 42% shooting from beyond the arc, George has 1,000% been the NBA's best two-way player of the season. Number 3.
Wait. Let me just clear this up. I don't think he's a bad player. I'm just saying he left the Pacers, and the Pacers...
So don't hate on him. He
Pacers
went and
got a
made a
good deal
business
back
decision for him. Don't hate on Paul George for wanting to leave. He wants to go play in the Lake Show in a year. He probably isn't leaving anymore, but one can hope. Number 3, cool off, Utah. Please, come on. The NBA's hottest team will go for their 11th straight win on Wednesday versus the Suns, who you talked about, after they beat the Spurs on Monday with the second night of a back-to-back, a huge win on Monday. The Jazz have battled back to over 500 after dropping to 19-28 following a loss to Atlanta on January 22nd. In the thick of the playoff hunt, BPI gave Utah a 7% chance to make the playoffs after losing to Atlanta on January 22nd. So Utah really killing the Lakers' dreams of being in the playoffs. The Clippers are obviously going to fall because they lost Blake Griffin. The Pelicans are going to fall because they lost DeMarcus Cousins. I was just saying, hey, the Jazz lost Rodney Hood. They won't be good either. Come on, Lakers. No, the Jazz now have won like a million straight. So it's really looking hard for the Lakers to make the playoffs, but hopefully in Utah they cool off. But, their jerseys are red, like red hot, so.
Well, I think you were the only one that was.
No, I'm not. Talk to LeVar Ball. He said it before the season.
All right. LeVar Ball is a separate issue.
Saying.
Let's talk about my 3 things. My first one, on Monday night, Steve Kerr let his players run the timeout huddles versus the Suns and ended up winning by 46 points. Huge victory for the Warriors, and he just didn't need, he was just looking off to the side while his players ran the huddles.
I loved it.
Taking the night off and still winning by 46.
Yeah, it was awesome. Draymond in there, Iggy in there. It was so fun to watch.
All right, my second thing, the Raptors have taken over the 1 seed in the East. They've won 5 in a row, and the Celtics are struggling a little bit. Are the Raptors the team to beat in the East?
No. Next.
All right. That was quick.
Yeah, there's no way. The Cavs are a better team, and we've seen Kyle Lowry in the playoffs. I'm not willing to trust him a third time.
All right. Let's stay in the East, though. The playoff race, the race for the 4 seed, the Wizards, Bucks, and Pacers are all within a half game of the 4 seed right now, and they're all looking pretty hot. Who do you think gets it?
I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think the Bucks have got it. I was going to say Wizards, but I changed my mind. I'm going to go with the Bucks. Giannis, the best player of any of those 3 teams. I think their coach really figuring out he's 8-2 in his 10 games as the interim coach. And Eric Bledsoe, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and other role players like Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Middleton, Jabari Parker just make them a better team than the other 2 teams mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with the Bucks. Jabari comes back, has a big season. As long as they can hit some threes, the Bucks will be doing all right. That's going to do it today for our basketball talk. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about for football, though. Welcome back to Friday Night Football. Since the last time we talked to you, the Colts have lost their head coach and got a new one.
Let me make a statement. What did I say on here? Josh McDaniels, too immature. What's a better example of immaturity than that right there? You guys thought I was crazy for hating on Josh McDaniels, and now the facts come out. The dude was too immature to be a head coach, and I do not think he gets another chance to be a head coach anywhere but New England.
All right, I think you meant like he was be a bad head coach. No,
I said he was too immature. That's what I said. Facts are facts.
All right. I'm not giving you 100% on that take, but
more than what you said about him.
I still think he'd be a good head coach. Actually,
yeah,
I believe that the Colts wanted to take a different direction. Pagano was more of a kind of a leader guy, but wasn't the best with the X's and O's, and so they wanted to go a whole other direction.
And get no leader, but get all X's and O's.
Yeah, I think that's what they wanted with McDaniels. Obviously, that didn't work out, and they settled right in the middle, I believe, with Frank Reich. The Eagles' offensive coordinator, the Colts hired him to a 5-year deal this past week. Jason, what do you think?
Well, Reich was an offensive assistant and a quarterback's coach and a receivers coach for the Colts from 2008 to 2011. So he's experienced in Indy. He worked with Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, and Reggie Wayne. That's important for me because I think that is crucial to have somebody that worked in Indy and knows the fans and is relatable. Pagano coming from Baltimore, McDaniels coming from a team that everyone in Indy hates in New England. They weren't relatable to the fans. I think Frank Reich comes in and is relatable. Other thing, Frank Reich didn't call the play for the Eagles, though. He had a big role in the Eagles' offense, but did not actually call the plays. How much does that matter? I think we'll see. He did help create the offense, though, with Doug Peterson. He spent an hour plus each week the night before games going over the play sheet with Peterson. And so it's a good hire, I think. Obviously better than McDaniels. He was a great guy to talk to with Peterson, and I like it. He's not Belichick or Carroll. He's not a top 5 coach, but it's a solid hire and one that I'm a lot more confident in if I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan.
All right, yeah. Like I said, I think he's somewhere in the middle of a great leader and a great X's and O's guy. I think there is questions about that, though. Like you said, he wasn't the one calling the plays during the game for the Eagles, but I still think that he's had a lot of experience around the NFL and with the Colts, like you said again, and I think that he will get the job done, being a great leader, and hopefully can figure out the X's and O's side. I still think he's much better than Pagano on that, though.
But what is his first task as a head coach? Get ready for the draft. And that's what we're going to do here on Sports Weekly. Every week we're going to come at you with a different positional ranking, and then after we finish that, we will go into our big boards and our mock drafts and all that good stuff all coming up. But let's go into the quarterbacks, what people say the most important position in football. Dylan, 5 to 1 is how we're going to rank it. Who is your number 5 quarterback in the draft class?
All right, I think this is a pretty top-heavy draft class. I do like my top 2 a lot, which I'll get to later. But besides that, I think it's a very close race. At number 5, though, I'm going to have to go with Lamar Jackson. He can really light up a scoreboard, and he's a dual-threat guy. Obviously very fast, running around, but there's a lot of questions about his size. Can he stay in the pocket? Is he tall enough to do it? And will that hold him back? Not really sure. There's plenty of short guys who have succeeded, but Lamar Jackson is just not a big guy. I think that holds him back a little bit, but still, like I said, he has the ability to light up a scoreboard. That's why he won the Heisman in college, and that's why he's my number 5 quarterback prospect.
Yeah, I go a different direction. I go with somebody that you loved coming into the preseason, Mason Rudolph. And really, a lot of teams said he interviewed well at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, he didn't play, but he comes off as a love-or-hate prospect in this year's draft class. Really, a lot of teams back and forth. One team source said they like Rudolph, but others might be skeptics. A general manager of a playoff team said that they had Rudolph graded as a third-day guy. Well, another NFC general manager said they thought Rudolph could be a day 2 guy. And then an AFC college scouting director of a playoff team said they were giving Rudolph a 5th-round grade. So teams really all over. We've heard early 3rd round as low as undrafted. So love-hate kind of guy. I wouldn't say I'm a love, but I would say I think he will be a successful backup, and if he gets his shot, will not be Nathan Peterman and screw it all up.
All right. Let's go to number 4. I'm going to go with Josh Allen. You know, he's the guy with the big arm. I think he has to go to the right team, though. He's very inaccurate. He'll overthrow you by a mile. I actually like the fit with the Broncos. If he goes to the Broncos, I think that'd be a really good fit for him. If he could sit a year, though, not play right away, and just scare him because he's going to throw a lot of interceptions right away.
Wow. I do not agree with your almost hate on Josh Allen. Number 4? Yikes. I'm going Baker Mayfield at number 4. There's a lot to like about Mayfield's play for the NFL. He's a gritty gunslinger type quarterback. We've seen those a lot in college, but he has an it factor to his game. He has the cockiness, the swagger, and you got to love that. But Mayfield doesn't have a strong arm, but it's good enough to make the throws required in the NFL. One of Mayfield's most impressive strengths as a passer is being able to locate the ball well and find the receivers that are open. He was really good at it in college. I think that'll be good for him in the NFL, but his arm strength, not good. It's fine, and I'm not sure, like you said with Lamar Jackson, the size. He has a lot of Johnny Manziel comparisons. They're different, but they're really similar, and I'm not sure I buy all the hype around Baker.
All right, I'm going to put him at number 3 for mine. He makes big plays. That's why he won the Heisman also in college. But there is a little bit of character issues on and off the field, like you said, with Manziel, the comparison to Johnny Manziel. I think he will be fine off the field, but again, he has to go to the right team, and I think he should sit a year or 2 behind a quarterback and really just get ready. I'm not too concerned about the arm strength. He can still get out of the pocket and make big plays. You know, Tom Brady doesn't even have the greatest arm strength in the world, But
That's a different story, though.
if Mayfield goes to the right team, I still think he can be a solid NFL quarterback.
Well, my number 3, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold completed 63% of his passes for 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Up and down season for Mr. Darnold. Way too many turnovers, fumbles, a big issue beyond the interceptions. Darnold made some beautiful anticipatory throws where he really just knew where the guys were going to be, and it looked fantastic with excellent accuracy in just about every game. But the turnovers scare me. I don't buy it right now. I thought he should go back a year. There's no reason not to. USC's going to be better and better. I don't like Darnold as much as everyone else. I still think he'll be a successful pro if he gets to sit out a year. I like him going to a team like the Giants if they sign Eli Manning back.
No reason not to. Go back.
Yes,
go back. $10 million
He's
paycheck next
He
year.
won't even be the number 1 pick, so I'm not touching him. I don't think he's number 1. He should not be the number 1 pick, I'll say that. It should be Josh Rosen. There's no doubt about that. But Darnold needs one more year.
All right, I have Rosen at number 2. I compare him to Jared Goff, both Pac-12 Cal guys. I think he'll be a really good NFL quarterback and can make every throw on the field. Arm strength, a little bit of a concern, but not too big. Again, size was something with Jared Goff. I think Rosen's a little bit similar to that, but I still think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback.
Cannot believe you're disrespecting me at number 2. Number 2 for me, Josh Allen. Allen had a strong showing at the Senior Bowl that helped his draft stock. During his time in Mobile, Alabama, he displayed his big skill set and his powerful arm while making improvements in accuracy and the ability to throw touch passes during the 3 practices that they had over the week. His touch passes were fantastic. They finally came to him. Obviously, he played at Wyoming, and everyone had worries about that. 2 years ago, you compared Rosen to Goff. I'm going to compare him to another guy from a small school, Carson Wentz, a little bit. And I really think Josh Allen could be a steal of this draft if he goes to the Broncos or he goes to the Cardinals, someone farther down in the draft order. I really like what Josh Allen's doing. I think he could be the best quarterback out of this class.
He could be the best, but he could also definitely be the worst. I think
He cannot be the worst. You tell me he's worse than an undrafted free agent like Riley Ferguson?
Okay, I mean in terms of the bust.
Okay,
factor. My number 1, though, Sam Darnold. He's got everything. He's got the arm. He's got the size. He's got the it factor. Sam Darnold is the number 1 quarterback in this draft. You can't pass up on him. He's got everything. The turnovers are a little bit of a concern, but I think he can fix that in the NFL.
I hope
with
the Browns
right coaching staff.
I hope the Browns take him. They'll be getting Deshaun Kaiser, Turnover City Part 2. He might average 50 interceptions. I don't hate Darnold that much. I just am really worried about his turnovers. My number 1, Josh Rosen, UCLA. He's a Bruin for life, and of the top quarterback prospects in the 2018 NFL Draft, Rosen has the best mechanics and is the best natural pocket passer. He fits the NFL mold of a quarterback, and I really think Rosen will be successful. Him and Allen will be going back and forth for the best quarterback of the draft class.
All right. Not even throwing Darnold in there.
I think he could be, but I don't think he's going to go to the right team. If he goes to the Browns, I think he has no. I don't think he'll be good. If he goes to the Giants, then maybe, but I'm still not confident. The only team that really makes sense for him, I feel like, is the Cardinals. A team that's basically having to rebuild, but with a few vets to help him out. It still gives him the no pressure to win, but still has a lot of vets that can help him, like Larry Fitzgerald. Cardinals, if he goes there, I think he'll be successful. If not, I'm not so confident.
I think you have to temper expectations on anyone who goes to the Browns in this year's draft. I mean, any quarterback especially.
Rosen's better fit for it, though, than Darnold, I think.
We'll see. That's going to do it today for Friday Night Football, though. Last but not least, we have Soarin Sports at Guerin Catholic. All right, welcome back for Soarin Sports at Guerin Catholic. Last week was senior night for boys basketball. What a great activities before and what a great game after it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Dylan and I both had the chance to walk out with the team. Great experience, great crowd. I as a manager, Dylan as a broadcaster. Great experience and great win, beating them by 40 points. And It was just a good win, good confidence booster. Guerin Catholic now on a 4-game winning streak as they go on to take on Broad Ripple tonight.
Yeah, hey, don't sell yourself short, though. You're a broadcaster, too.
Yeah, I do it all. I do a manager, I do a broadcaster, I do it all over here. Jack of all trades.
All right. Yeah, senior night was a great time for both of us, and during the game was awesome, too, because Guerin Catholic, what a performance. Zach Munson put up 30 points and 11 rebounds. The whole team just played great, though. Shot the ball amazing. But like you said, tonight we take on Broad Ripple. Unfortunately, we don't know the score yet because it happens later tonight, and we'll be playing this for you on Friday before the game, or if you're watching it on YouTube. Pendleton Heights is Friday night.
I will not be there.
Yes.
It's all Dylan. Maybe getting a sub broadcaster, but I'll be in Kansas on a college visit, so it's all this dude.
And Sunday night is the sectional draw for the boys basketball team. So next week we will have you updated with that. Follow us on Twitter at GC Broadcasting. We'll have it there for you right when the draw comes out.
Yeah, I will do my best to get a live reaction of the guys. If it's a good one, if it's not, I will not. But if it's a good reaction, I'll tweet out a live reaction of the guys when they get their sectional draw as they're having a team gathering on Sunday.
All right, that's going to do it today, though, on Sports Weekly. I'm Dylan Staggy.
Jason Gandhi.
And we will see you next week on Sports Weekly.
This is Sports